yes, she does, actually.
Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Keegan and Cary's Movie Swap. I'm Cary Edwards, erstwhile author, full-time Popinjay. I am joined here as ever by Keegan Nuttall Cartwright. Hello, Keegan.
Hello, Cary. Well, I'm Keegan. You may know me as the film filler / graduate / a lot of talents. Let's just say that.
You are multifaceted in your talent itinerary. And once again, we have thrown movies at each other for reasons which we'll go into. And I will warn everybody at home and everybody who's not at home accessing this wonderful conversation that there will be many, many spoilers and possibly some rude words. Let's start with the movie you threw at me. You threw at me a very little-known film, despite the fact it stars Robert De Niro, Bill Murray, and Uma Thurman, Mad Dog and Glory. Why?
Well, we had this conversation about like Uma Thurman's filmography, and you mentioned like certain things here and there that we'll not get into. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to throw this little underrated gem of a movie, personally in my eyes, at you. She's one of those actresses I loved ever since I was a kid. You know, she was Maid Marian, she was a literal femme fatale, my super ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's not a good movie, but
it's not a good
she's
movie.
Wonderful. She does the best for what she's given. She's one of those actresses. You deliver like a career-defining performance with Kill Bill, performance of a lifetime. It's the movie that she, even though she co-wrote, was born to play. It's just one a lot of fondness for.
Okay, it's interesting. We talked about Uma Thurman, and I claimed, possibly unfairly, probably unfairly, that I don't think she's that good outside of the Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, where she's terrific. And so you threw this at me, and I have to say, she wasn't the problem I had with this film. I had lots of problems with this movie. Uma Thurman wasn't one of them. You like this movie.
I do like this movie.
I don't hate this movie, but I didn't like this movie. I will explain why. But you sell me on this movie, please. Sell the audience on this movie.
Well, this movie is about like kind of a police photographer, Wayne, nicknamed Mad Dog, played by Robert De Niro, who one night goes into a clerk's place, wanting to buy some food and all that. Oh my God, what's happening this time? Bill Murray is being held at gunpoint. And he ends up saving his life, and they become like kind of friends, kind of not. And that's where he meets Glory, played by Uma. And as a gift for like saving his life, he grants Glory, played by Uma Thurman, for a weekend or a week. And through that time, they fall in love, and complications ensue as Wayne discovers like kind of the meaning of life and love and being a man and all these things.
Yeah, he does. And I was very disappointed to find out that the film was called Mad Dog and Glory because there's a character called Mad Dog and a character called Glory. I thought it was some beautiful metaphor.
Yeah, I thought that as well, because with a dog like a name like Glory, you think like a lady and all that. Like you can read into that, but like it doesn't really play with that.
So a couple of things I thought. One, I'm not sure I bought De Niro. De Niro plays against type, and that's great. He plays Wayne, known as Mad Dog, this photographer. He works for the police, but he's timid. He is quite shy. He clearly, his next door neighbour clearly fancies him, and he does nothing.
Yeah, you get that in the opening scene. Lee's just like sending the feelers out, and De Niro's just like, no,
he's not into it. And
clearly
it's one of those movies where you think, actually, no, you should have dated her. That would make much more sense.
Even Caruso mentions it midway through. He goes like, you're kind of moving in with this.
That's David Caruso.
David Caruso of CSI Miami fame and First Blood.
And First Blood, yes, very briefly in First Blood. I did write a note about David Caruso's character, redhead horny friend.
Oh man, yeah.
That's how I described him.
After the scene when Wayne fails to kind of take the guy down, and you got him going like, you have sex, because she riled up like a rocket, and then you have that scene which felt like a precursor to The Mask, where Wayne's like sitting by himself listening to Louis Prima, and he's like thinking what he could have been.
Prima stuff,
he's thinking like what he could have done on that night at the moment, like what he wants to be.
There are some interesting moments where Wayne is almost like a Walter Mitty-ish figure. He has these fantasies, and there's quite a fun shot where he looks out the window and in the curtain he sometimes does or doesn't see a naked couple.
I wanted to talk about that because
so lonely.
I was trying to read into that if there was like anything behind that, but I just kind of thought it was like maybe that's something he wants to have. And of course,
he's
when
projecting.
He Glory,
but then later on, there is a couple.
Yeah, there's a couple, and they shut the window. And then when they actually get together and have sex,
that's
like they're not there anymore.
Thurman,
they have a very intimate sex scene, which some describe as uncomfortable. But I think
I was profoundly uncomfortable by both the sex scenes.
I think it works considering what like Wayne, he hasn't been with a woman for 2 years. He's kind of uncomfortable. You get that scene.
Just so the audience, just so you understand, everybody out there, if you want to see a film where Robert De Niro prematurely ejaculates over Uma Thurman, this is the movie for you. For the rest of us, I don't know. Look, I understand it from the character, but again, I struggled with. I'm not sure De Niro convinced me in that role.
I think it kind of worked because obviously for me, like what plays in that factor is the wardrobe he's wearing, the hair. He's kind of got like this weird orange, like kind of dye, like Sean Connery, Never Say Never Again. They do a really good job of communicating. Like this is a different role for De Niro in a time where he was kind of doing that. You know, you think in Midnight Run where he was doing comedy, and like this later on.
Yeah, but it's one of those things with stars and their star image and. You bring baggage with you, and De Niro's in that. He's like Casinos are about the same time, isn't it? It's roughly early 90s, so he's still playing a lot of those tough guys, and it's great that he's doing different things. But like I say, it's interesting because I looked at the movie, and for those who don't know, Bill Murray's in it, and he plays a mob boss, and it's almost like they cast them backwards. That Bill Murray would have been better as Mad Dog. And De Niro would have easily aced the mob boss character.
That easily would have been like a good choice either way. I just feel like one of my problems actually with Bill Murray in this is he's barely in it when you think about it.
And he's good when he's there, actually. I did quite like him in this, but he's not in it enough.
No, he's not in it to be like make an impression, and he just spends a lot of it like kind of like he's a gangster, but he's like kind of comedian. He sees a therapist. Oh, I can see.
There is something quite funny about a gangster who's bought a club to do bad comedy. And actually, the bit I did like where De Niro's character Wayne is actually feeding him jokes which are funnier than anything. Yeah. And I thought and when they're together, I like the movie a lot more when they're together.
Yeah, because they just play off well with each other.
And I'm like, that's a movie. The romance with Uma Thurman, and Uma Thurman's fine in the movie, in a very underwritten role, in a character whose relationship with, I guess it's problematic, you'd call it, because she's loaned to him.
Yeah.
But you sort of have to accept that. The romance didn't quite convince me. It didn't convince me that they fell in love. And fundamentally, I was kind of hoping that she was going to walk out on him at the end, and it was all a con. And that would have worked better for me because it felt false.
Yeah, and we could talk about that with the ending because this had some reshoots with it.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
But I feel like you get that enough because De Niro and Uma have this kind of chemistry. They do spend a lot of time. They talk with each other, even though they have like Mike Starr following them around going, just making sure you're having a good time.
I'm not saying it's always wrong, but any ideas what the age gap was?
God, I wouldn't know. Like maybe I think she was born in like the 1970s, and you got De Niro's probably born in the 1940s.
So it's a good 20 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you know, I'm not judging, but that again, maybe an older actress, but I guess that wouldn't work for the fact that she's in debt.
Yeah, and you have that whole thing with the brother as well, who we never get to see at all.
No, he's an absent. Is he dead? It's implied, I think.
It's implied he's kind of dead, but then he's got that debt still. It feels weird that we don't kind of skip much beyond like a conversation about. Yeah, I kind of actually kind of calls this Glory.
Yes,
like because she mentions how she went to Frank Milo just to kind of clear it off, become a
Murray's
bartender. Yeah, which is Murray's character, of course.
Yes. One guy I did like, I'm going to have to check my notes now because I'm old and I can't remember a damn thing, is one particular character who made me laugh all the way through, and I'm not going to remember his name, and it's the henchman.
Mike Starr?
Yes.
Yes, Mike Starr of Goodfellas fame.
Yes.
He gets his ass kicked by Steven Seagal in On Deadly Ground.
Yes, he does, and he's great fun.
And for some Bostonians out there, you will remember him as Joe Mental from Dumb and Dumber.
Yes, he is.
He's so good. I love him.
And he's great, and he was quirky. And I think the film is a quirky thing, and it's kind of, I guess it's a comedy. Is it a comedy?
That's one of those things. Like, is it a comedy? Is it kind of a buddy cop movie? Is it a romance movie? It's kind of got all these elements dodled all throughout. And I think it's concept.
Maybe that's why I didn't vibe with it. And I think, it was not successful, was it?
No, it made about $23.7 million on a $19 million budget. I don't know if that's domestically or worldwide, but it didn't make a splash when it came out, let's just say.
But it has become a cult hit.
Yeah, at least enough to get a Blu-ray release, commentary by the director, of course. And
well, let's talk about the director because it's an unlikely director.
So weird.
Go on, tell us.
John McNaughton. So his previous movie before this was Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, which is this character study about Henry, played by Michael Rooker, who just, there's no real story to it. It's just kind of following this guy and his like kind of friend who's also in this film, and he just commits a lot of horrible, heinous killings. It's a very bleak, dark movie. And then his other movie, Wild Things, later on, is just this erotic thriller with Denise Richards and Nev Campbell.
It is, and Kevin Bacon.
And Bill Murray.
And Bill Murray.
Yes. Connections.
That's right. And it's really interesting. I mean, look, good for the director. And you know what? I think my problems with Mad Dog and Glory probably lie in the script. The direction is good.
Yeah,
it's really pleasing to look at. It's well done. There's some nice camera moves. I really liked. It starts black and white, and it turns colour when a guy lights
the cigarette. And it's like bang.
And it's like and whoa,
that's wonderful.
And that was fun.
I love the nighttime scenes as well. When we used to film nighttime scenes, it looks good. Like it's not like this House of the Dragon bullshit.
It's properly lit all the way through.
Where they light it so dark you can't see anything. It's just nice contrast.
So it's just. And I think maybe sometimes wonder if I'll, in a couple of years watch again or in a different mood, I would have liked this film. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't find, I guess, my rhythm with it.
As I said, it's one I always really kind of like. And it's like, infamously, this film did have reshoots. And in the ending, originally, Bill Murray was going to win the fight. And he was going to have this realization of, why am I fighting?
Right at the end, the Mad Dog, Wayne, stands up and has a fight with Bill Murray. And in the original cut, Bill Murray just beats the crap out of him. Has that realisation of, what am I doing this for? Fighting for a woman. He just walks off. And then Uma and De Niro get together and he dances for her in his room with Louis Prima, which happens earlier in the film. He kind of has sex with her and he takes photographs. He kind of finds that meaning a spark of life again. And in the middle of a crime scene, he ends up going... That's quite a funny scene.
It is. It's kind of a nice, cool, corny scene. And it works because if you're a guy, you've been in that situation, you meet a girl, you feel like you're on the top of the world. See Tom Hanks in Splash, for example, when he's just dancing with John Candy.
That's true. Yeah, it is. And there is an exuberance to that, which is rather nice. The ending that we see, there's the ending that everybody gets, De Niro's character fights back, gets a few punches in, he doesn't win the fight or anything, but there's more of a sort of a journey of him recognising his inner strength, I suppose, becoming a man.
Yeah, as that inner man, he just gets that punch in, before you know it, he's like Rocky and Drago, just gets that punch in, and before you know it, he's on top. And Uma comes along and stops the fight. What are you boys doing? That suggestion was made by Scorsese and John McNaughton when they were thinking Red River.
Scorsese produced this film.
He did.
Well, it partly explains the inclusion of De Niro, I guess.
De Niro and Mike Starr because of Goodfellas.
And Red River, by the way, is a classic John Wayne Western, which is Howard Hawks.
Yeah, Howard Hawks, Montgomery Clift.
And a fabulous film.
It was their kind of way of like...
Much better than Mad Dog Glory.
I don't know, we'll have to check that out.
Yes, it is. Probably.
I mean, through the research I found, I was like, oh, that's where they got this idea from.
Yeah.
Shut down production for a year, and they were like, how can we fix this movie for test audiences?
Yeah, it didn't work, though, because the box office still tanked.
No, because it didn't. One of the reasons why it failed is the trailers, the poster didn't quite work.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the DVD cover at home, but it is... I mean, it's just terrible.
It is. I just reminded, the first time I ever saw this cover was in animated form when it's this cutaway in Family Guy where Peter Griffin's like in this dollar store buying DVDs. He sees Roadhouse and he goes, we'll give you What Dreams May Come by Bob Williams. He goes, don't give me that. No, it's $1. If that DVD touches Roadhouse, I'll kill you. And it's all these movies on the shelf, Harlem Nights, Mad Dog and Glory.
Harlem Nights. Okay, well,
these dollar store movies.
And I guess at the time, Thurman wasn't a big draw. Pulp Fiction's a couple of years away.
Yeah, she was Maid Marian, but of course that didn't go to the theatrical release in the US.
Yeah. And De Niro, does an audience want to see De Niro playing against time?
Yeah, did you want to
have that classic
as a
problem.
timid man? Like, do people want to see the Raging Bull be this vulnerable man,
Interesting.
Did they want to see Bill Murray as a gangster who is a comedian but sees a therapist? I just think it analyse this.
Actually, some of the therapist lines are quite funny.
No, when he gets to the end, he goes like, "My therapist would like this."
Yeah, and actually, that's funny because that's kind of ahead of the curve. You think of the Analyze That films, which would De Niro would play a gangster in therapy, and then later on things like Sopranos.
Same time, to the point where you get to season 2 and you have characters pointing that out because it just happened.
So look, Mad Dog Glory, in a sense, ahead of the curve, maybe too ahead of the curve to sort of work with an audience at the time, certainly in the cinemas, but it has become a fairly loved cult film.
Yeah, because I showed a family member this, and he just went, "This is kind of cool. Why haven't I heard this movie before?" Because it bombed at the time, and it just kind of went over the rug.
And it has a terrible poster.
Well, not abysmal poster. I mean, look at that.
It is. You
just think rom-com vibes.
It is.
He's a cop from Chicago, and he's a mobster, and they both want Uma.
Good cameo from by a picture of Bobcat Goldthwait in the Comedy Club.
I took a picture of that.
For those who don't know, Zed in the Police Academy movies, which I have seen.
Do you know what? I saw that opening shot, and I was sat there. I had to pause it and went, "Is that Bobcat Goldthwait?"
Yeah, that was Bobcat Goldthwait.
And it was. It's Zed. And
I thought Jerry Springer walked past, but I'm not sure about that. But that's definitely got Bobcat Goldthwait.
You're getting Mike Starr vibes going, is that Phil Donahue?
Yeah,
that's definitely Phil Donahue.
Maybe I'm seeing things.
You got like
Who is it? Who is this movie for? It's not for me.
No,
and that's cool, but
I don't know. It's just a kind of like a cultish movie that kind of appeals to a lot of my sensibilities. As I said, I like movies like this that mix a lot of genres all into one because, again, they find their audience later on, like through Blu-ray or DVD or TV rentals, going, do you remember when Uma Thurman and De Niro were in these movies?
And it's the sort of movie that I can't imagine anybody financing today because it's so unhigh concept. It's characters and it's quirky and it's difficult to sell and
it's very character based. Like the comedy in this is not even broad
fair.
at all. It's very like it comes from the characters and conversations. Like you got Uma talking about the situation, going, "I'm like a 7-day telegram. I'm like a gorilla coming in with balloons." When well, that's fitting because you would later channel your inner Marlene Dietrich, but okay.
Yeah. I'd like to see more of his crime scene photography. That's really interesting. It's in the background. It looks really cool.
Yeah. And you actually get to see it in his room, and it's like, oh, this is cool. That's cool. And you got Mike Starr making like comments about it.
Any final thoughts before we move on to a much more sophisticated film?
Well. Sophistication will come. I think it's underrated. It has got a lot of flaws on the writing side, but I think De Niro and Thurman play it off quite well. You got like lovely performances from Mike Starr, David Caruso.
Yeah. Caruso's actually really solid in it. He is.
He is. I didn't expect him to be this like kind of jerk ass like kind of character, but he kind of plays it quite well.
He doesn't play the sort of cool dickish character.
Then again, he's been typecast for that kind of role because I think he did like Angie Everhart erotic thriller, and CSI Miami was pretty much his income for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You know.
And I guess NYPD Blue happened just after this, probably?
I think probably after this. I mean, there was that period where everybody wanted to be in that show. Like even William Peterson was in like made money from those kind of shows.
Love William Peterson. And now,
which connection? The DP of To Live and Die in LA did this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did.
Well, it got worse. Now, we'll get into the movie that I threw at you, which is classic, but bizarrely. And we didn't know this. They have a direct connection through the actor Tom Towles, who played Andrew the Beater, as in wife beater.
Well.
Some of us aren't comfortable with the way phrase the beater, but move on. And then in the movie I threw at you, plays a guy called Maddox. He's a scumbag in both. And let's just shout out for Tom Towles for playing scumbags across a range of movies.
I know. I mean, he has a career of that. I mean, Miami Vice. He cracks me because we'll talk about this in Fortress. I thought he was going to play a certain subversion of a character in that kind of movie, but he kind of isn't. He kind of has inklings of it, but
not really. Because there's nothing that subversive in Fortress. So the second movie
a couple of things.
is the early 90s action sci-fi classic Fortress, starring Christopher Lambert with Tom Towles, with Jeffrey Combs.
And Kurtwood Smith.
We'll talk a lot about Kurtwood Smith because I think so. It is it's probably one of the later sort of corporate dystopia films. In the future, prisons have been privatized for profit. And in this future, for reasons that aren't really explored, you're only allowed one baby. Christopher Lambert's wife gets pregnant. They try and escape to Canada.
The border.
Where it's clearly you can have more than one baby. And they get captured on the border. In a really good scene, actually. It's a really good opening.
I really like that scene.
It's a really good opening. And then he ends up in this sort of future prison, which is under the ground. And it is, in many respects, an incredibly cliched movie, at least the first act. Everything you expect to happen in a prison movie happens. People shout fish. There's gratuitous male nudity.
It's got one of my favourite prison cliches ever, which is all the guards wear aviators inside.
Yeah, they do.
Like Cool Hand Luke.
Inside.
And then you've got the guy who can't hack it, and he's only there for 30 days. Like, I'm claustrophobic. I can't take this anymore. And he gets shot.
He dies hilariously. What makes this film more fun than just a prison movie and a sci-fi prison movie is some of the ideas are cool. The intestinator, which is something that gets implanted into your guts and causes you pain and will blow up and explode your guts out, is really good fun. But also the idea that you're constantly being observed, which, and I'm going to bring in some philosophy.
Yeah.
Do you mind at home? This links back to a concept of the panopticon, which I'm going to have to look up. The name of the guy who invented the panopticon, Jeremy Bentham, in the 1800s. And the idea of a prison where you think you might always being observed. Now, the panopticon, if you Google it, is sort of a prison where the guard tower's in the middle looking out. So it sees, potentially, all the cells. And this is sort of a futuristic panopticon where they can spy on you at any point, but also look inside your dreams. And there's some great wacky scenes where Kurtwood Smith's weird, repressed man-baby spies on Christoph Lambert's erotic dreams.
Which makes me laugh so much because do we have to have every single movie where Lambert gets involved in some gratuitous sex and violence?
Yes. Yes, we do. And it is gratuitous. It's fabulous. It's just like there's no need for us.
At all. But no, it's I didn't expect much from this movie. I was thrown this movie because Cary wanted to do Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger, John Milius, fantasy movie.
Which is a great film.
But then I heard from my colleagues that he had a copy of Fortress, and I went, I want to do Fortress.
Yeah.
Highlander's one of my favourite films. Can I do Fortress? And I was like, yes. And opening the future of 2017.
It was, yeah.
Hang on a press. 2017's happened. It's like when you watch Reign of Fire and it's set in 2020 and you go, they got dragons roaming the earth. We just got a pandemic.
Yeah, we did. Did anything interesting happen in 2017? I don't know. Fortress happened. Look, Lambert's good, isn't he? He's doing what he does.
Because this was considered for someone like a Schwarzenegger, and when you get Lambert, there's a different type of expectation when it comes to Lambert because, English isn't his first language, but he brings this likability and like twink to his eye. I love him.
He was a regular guy, but physically speaking, he's more believable. He's not. You worry more because
even though he's like an ex-military guy, and which is like okay, Lambert, he brings a lot of like likability and charm to him because you look at him and you're just like, I love the guy. He's one of those people that I always feel so great when I see him on screen. I got a kick out of him seeing him Hell Caesar 10 years ago. God. When he was in Hell Caesar, I was just like, yes. Conor McLeod, the Conor McLeod is in a theatrical film again.
This is towards the end of his, I guess, main successful period before he goes into direct-to-video oblivion.
Yeah, because he had like Mean Guns and Gunmen.
Yeah.
And a couple of Highlander sequels with Highlander Endgame.
There are no Highlander sequels. We'll move on. It's an interesting thing to think that this was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, which would have been a much higher budget thing, and when Arnie left, it got reduced. But bizarrely, the reason that this is directed by Stuart Gordon is because Arnold Schwarzenegger watched Reanimator and went, that's the man. That's the man for my prison movie.
And I'm kind of glad they didn't because we kind of have that kind of the macho man prison movie with Lockup with Stallone. You've kind of already got that. So I'm so kind of glad we got someone like an ordinary-ish man with Lambert because, again, everyday man kind of quality about him. And what surprised me about this is how much he gets involved in the action when there is action.
Oh, yeah, he does.
This is very sparse on action kind of movie.
Yeah, do you think?
Yeah, because you get the opening.
There's stuff going on.
Yeah, there's always stuff going on. Like you got the opening, which is really tense, where you're going, cover your flak jacket. Yeah. And then you got like, miss, you forgot your stuff. And then he just peeks and goes, oh my God, it's her, she's got a flak jacket. Then you got the woman who's trying to like get past, like, this is what could happen if the mission fails.
That opening scene has one of my favourite lines of dialogue, which is goddamn breeders.
Goddamn breeders.
Goddamn breeders. Stuart Gordon. Let's talk about Stuart Gordon. I love Stuart Gordon. So Stuart Gordon came from the theatre, but he made a huge splash in horror with Reanimator, followed that with From Beyond, Dolls, made a movie that we should probably cover at some point called Robot Jocks, which is stop-motion, Gundam-style robots fighting in the desert to solve political crises.
You sold me on the title.
He also co-wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, that's why he has a TV production credit.
Yeah, which is, and probably made more money off that than anything else. And he did this, and look, this is one of those movies where if you think about it, this is stupid.
Yeah,
there's so many plot holes, but he things move quickly.
Yeah, it doesn't dwell too much on it. It's like Face Off, where there's so much implausibility in the plotting and the technology and all that you don't really care.
Yes.
One of my favourite things is the security footage. Like they have like it lamp on a ramp, and it goes past all the cells. When
so stupid.
Surely you would have a camera on every single cell in this futuristic prison.
Absolutely.
It annoyed me.
Now, Kurtwood Smith, who's a great bad guy in RoboCop, is a very different sort of bad guy here. He plays a very peculiar character who's obsessed with Lambert's wife.
Which you don't know for reasons.
He has a sort of strange relationship with Zed, the computer, which is a bit like Mother in Alien. He has a sort of womb-like control room and female voice.
He's really good. And then he's like, proper Kurtwood Smith, Rambo 3, Depot Society. I always love seeing him. Sitcom dad, of course.
Yep.
And then you get the reveal, like, kind of 45 minutes in, going, oh, he was a manufactured robot. Like, he was human, but Mantel transformed him into a cyborg being in order to avoid overpopulation and getting the babies.
He's the wave of the future, and it's actually really creepy at the end where the pregnant wife, because we're led to believe she's dead and she's not.
That's it.
There's surgeons who are gonna extract her baby and turn her into this sort of cyborg thing. It's like this has got a bit serious.
A little bit too serious.
But then Lambert turns up and kills him. So it's cool.
Turns up with his goofy wig after being lobotomized in.
He does briefly get lobotomized.
Months.
Look, one of my favorite moments in this movie is he is put in this machine where he's strapped up like the Vitruvian Man.
Jeff Fahey in Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, it is very Lawnmower Man, and he's turned into he's brain dead afterwards. However, because of technology, his wife hacks into his dreams and literally rescues his inner child from a pit. From a well. And pulls the inner child up back to reality.
And that's enough to bring him. Yeah, it's enough to bring him back, winking, back from the dead. And he's sporting long hair like he's Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod.
He has that long hair. And Kurtwood Smith's really interesting because he's trying to set up this weird, creepy life with Lambert's wife, and then Lambert turns up. And there's some great violence. I do love over-the-top, explosive body horror violence.
Once it got to the moment in the space sequence when he's like looking at the baby, the fetus, and he's like, Lambert gouges his eyes out. I went, I know we're now in the Stuart Gordon
now we're in a
picture.
Stuart Gordon movie, yeah.
Or when Vernon Wells gets bloodily killed.
Vernon Wells. We must mention Vernon Wells. Surprisingly, he plays a mad scumbag with homoerotic overtones.
I mean, it's never going to change. Mad Max 2, the Road Warrior, Commando, it's never going to change.
Produced by John Davis of Predator fame.
Oh,
I guess a fairly violent movie. It's not like stunningly violent, but when it goes, it has some good moments.
Yeah, when it really gets gory and all that, it really does. Like, it's not a gory moment, but when you got Jeffrey Combs taking the devices out of him, and you got like
that's cool. And it is body horror stuff.
Is so
the intestine is pulled out via a magnet, and you have to basically pull it up and puke.
And then
you
got like I forgot what you call them, but they're escaping, and they meet all these like prison people who are like these cool ass designs where they're like kind of dead but not dead.
Yeah,
and like, oh, that's grim.
Yeah, it's grim, and you do wonder with maybe a bit more budget. Maybe they could have done more.
They could have done more than that because things. You look at this movie.
Was like $15 million or something.
Yeah, $50 million, and you look at the movie. It looks good. A lot of it's too much in close up. You don't get a sense of the sets or the grandioseness of it.
I think you often see that in Gordon's movies. He tends to film like that, and I think he's hiding the set because there's one of those great fake shots where they're going down in a lift, and you look at the guys in the lift, and then you look at the prison, and then you look at the lift, and you look at the prison. It's clearly the same. They have one prison set that they just change. And then we cut back, and then we cut, and which is cool because it doesn't have the money to do anything too spectacular.
And it was kind of innovative because it reminded me a lot of the prison show Oz, which came out in '97, where a good chunk of that show it takes place in Emerald City, like this interior prison facility where none of the prisoners go out and get some vitamin D, like this movie. And it's like,
there is a vitamin D problem in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, guys. Get him out in the courtyard, shank someone. Hey, there's not a moment in this movie where they get a shank and they stab someone.
No, but we do have rape threats in the prison.
Yeah, so, you do. You have that with
Vernon Wells.
Vernon Wells. You have it with
and our Tals, our friend.
Yeah, when he's just like going, trying to be all like threatening and all that with mate. Come on.
Has a happy ending. You won't be surprised. I say it has a happy ending, but actually, I was thinking about the ending of this movie. You'll be pleased to know at home that. Lambert and his wife and a Mexican kid who's with them escape.
Who survived because he's young and is not expendable.
Survived until the next scene.
Oh, yes.
But they escape. And it just occurred to me that everybody else in that prison must die.
They're going to have to. They've got no control.
Because it is locked in. And so If you were in there for 2 weeks because you fixed your taxes, you're dead.
You're dead.
And Lambert doesn't give a damn.
No, you don't give a damn. These babies just born happily ever after.
There must be other babies
until
in there.
Fortress 2.
Or the women's bit.
Until Fortress 2 re-entry.
Yeah, well, that happened.
Which I looked at the premise and went, yeah, it's the same movie again, but it looks like it's
the same movie.
What's the Guy Pearce
but in
movie?
space.
Yeah, the Guy Pearce movie. Let's just escape from New York.
Plays Guy Pearce.
Lock Up.
Lock Up, which is just Escape from
Lockout.
From New
That's
York.
it. Yeah, Lockout.
It's quite good fun though.
Yeah, it's still fun regardless. Where he plays a character called Marion, a tough guy. And his name's Marion. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, which is John Wayne's real
It
name,
is.
which brings us
That's
back
with
to
it.
Red River.
Oh yes, Red
So
River.
you should watch. Everybody should watch Red River.
I should probably
It's
watch
awesome.
Red
It's
River.
very good fun. I think I haven't seen it in 30 years. So we like Fortress. Then.
I do. I actually quite like the cast in this. You got like kind of Abraham, who I thought was Bill Cobbs initially until we started talking because Demolition Man, futuristic. And
Okay, yeah, fair play.
And he's kind of cool. I also
He's an interesting character, and given that he's a black actor, there may be some sort of commentary going on.
Yeah, because he's kind of like an orderly, dressed in blue, and he's like helping out the white man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you've got like it's kind of cool how they separate them because you've got the blues for the ordinaries, the average orange jumpsuits for the prisoners with the barcodes on the back.
I like the barcodes.
That's cool.
It's the future.
It's the future barcodes. Hey, it's like in Oz. They have like the numbers, then they'll put like the initials at the end, just to differentiate inmate from inmate.
One of the things I really like, the time we're talking about lighting earlier, is Gordon and whoever worked with him on cinematography and lighting know how to differentiate a scene. So scenes are lit differently, so you always know where you are and what's going on. You just think, in this era of flat Netflix lighting, it's just so nice to see something just really clear and obvious.
It is, although
as I get older and get confused by things.
And you like start going, why didn't you linger that shot for longer?
Who is this?
Who's this? What's going on here?
They look like the other person.
Although I sat there going, where's the women facility in all this? Because you have that sequence where
it's somewhere.
Christopher Lambert and Vernon Wells are fighting on that, like, not cliff, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, the women can see it.
And you're kind of wondering, where are the women in all this? Are they just separated by like a wall or a door?
Could be 2 floors up.
And you've got the wife going, John! She just has to squint going, yeah, that's definitely Christopher Lambert, all right.
That's definitely my husband. Do you see, this is very important for everybody at home, do you see Lambert's little Christopher in that scene or not? I heard a rumour. I couldn't spot it.
I couldn't see it.
Maybe on the big screen.
Not
you
on this
see it.
DVD quality that we got that is compatible with the PlayStation 2.
That is.
Let's talk about the poster.
It's all right.
It's all right. I don't get the sense.
Mad Dog and Glory.
I don't get the sense of why it looks like a futuristic space.
It does have
movie.
weird generic
And
dystopia
why
city below it.
Is this here? Why is the dystopian city?
I don't know.
They're like in the desert. The fortress is in a desert.
Great matte painting in the desert when they get to the prison. There's a terrific matte painting.
There's that, and then the ending, which was changed in a couple of countries. It originally ends when they drive through the gates and fade to white. Man, we got out of the prison. They're gonna have the baby. We don't have that secondary like kind of climax.
We have the full edition where they drive away in a truck, and it turns out that Zed, the computer, controls the truck. But only when the plot needs it to. So it kills the poor Mexican lad and nearly kills everybody else. But it doesn't, and they have the baby, and it's all wonderful. And we can ignore that. I have seen the sequel. I don't know. Pam Grier's in it, I think.
I never saw the sequel, but
awesome.
I'm so confused that I got a theatrical release. Why?
Did you get a theatrical? I did not see it
in certain countries. It got a theatrical release, and when it was kind of that turning point for Lambert as a international star because Highlander Endgame came out, and then he just kind of didn't do any theatrical films.
He peaked with Mortal Kombat, and it was just.
And then since then it was it was Ghost Rider
Downhill.
2, Hail Caesar. Again, he had appeal. He was in a TV show. He was in one of the biggest cult movies of the 80s.
Look, I love Lambert, and he was very nearly James Bond. If John Glenn had had his way, he would have been Living Daylights, possibly.
That would have been weird. But hey, them two actors would later collaborate, Marianne Diabo and Lambert, in The Point Men, which was also John Glenn.
I've never seen it. It's a John Glenn
Same
movie,
here.
so he got to make it eventually.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen it.
I
Low budget,
haven't.
filmed in Israel, I think. Last thing about Fortress, I have a complaint. I love this movie. I think it's great fun. I mean, it's not, it's not clever or anything, but it's good fun. The cinema's greatest henchman, Al Leong, who people will know from Die Hard and Big Trouble in Little China and God knows what else, Lethal Weapon for torturing Mel Gibson, is in it for about 3 seconds.
Was he? I didn't know.
He's just one of the prisoners when they arrive. And it's like, why give me a taste of Al Leong and not give me the full?
I feel like I can't go on the internet now. He was in this?
I am 100% sure that Al Leong briefly crossed through and I'm just angry that he wasn't in this film.
Might as well get all the 80s henchmen in. Get Bill Duke in while you're at it.
If we've got Vernon Wells, don't tease me with Al Leong.
That's crazy. I mean, he was in everything. Beverly Hills Cop 3, for God's sake.
He's in everything. He's fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah, really, really good. Look, it is a cliche film. It has some fun visuals. It has some fun violence. I quite like the cliches because it means you know where you are.
Yeah,
it
you
gets
know
them
where
out
you
of the
are.
way.
I said, like...
And then it does some interesting stuff.
I made fun of, like, the cops with the aviators, but it's familiar prison trope. It's like the solitary confinement sequence where they got...
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking a worse version of Papillon, you know? When you got Steve McQueen, like, stuck in solitary, he's like... I can't tell you.
That's true.
It made me want to think of recommendations, actually, based on this movie regarding prison movies.
No, what would you recommend?
Brawl and Cell Block 99.
Yes.
Rising Dawn, the Vietnam movie.
Oh, I don't know that.
Even though this is a different kind of tone movie, In the Name of the Father, Starred Up.
That is a very different tone.
Lockup.
Lockup's about the same tone.
It is, but...
And it has Robert Zadar in it.
It does.
That's worth seeing.
I kind of put Face Off in there, but that's because it's a futuristic prison with the
And
Super
there's
Mario
prison,
boots.
Absolutely, yeah.
Papillon, if anyone wants to check that out. Shot Caller with Jamie Lannister. Animal Factory with Defoe. Escape
Lord.
from Alcatraz and Cool Hand Luke.
Escape from Alcatraz is great, and so is Cool Hand Luke. Some of them I haven't seen, but Escape from Alcatraz is a really good Clint Eastwood movie. Don Siegel, the last film they made together.
Oh, yeah, shit,
with
wasn't it?
Patrick McGowan as well.
And Robert's Blossom, whoever remembers was Owen Marley, but he had a career, guys. He was kind of like Ed Gein in this horror movie, which is really darkly comedic and darkly serious. I love him.
Good. So, look, we are unequivocal that Fortress is worth your time. We are divided. I say we're divided. I'm divided about Mad Dog and Glory. You're absolutely sure about it.
I love Mad Dog and Glory.
You love it. I didn't, and for reasons that we have covered. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you, as always, to Dan and Ross, who you can't see, but they make all these things happen.
Behind the
we
scenes
will be back
in front of the scenes.
Yeah, we will be back forthwith.
Another
To
episode of
discuss
Movie
two
Swap.
more stupid films that we found. Thank you very much.
What we're going to pick? Who knows?
No, I don't know.
Maybe we'll take requests from our lovely people
Not
behind
yet,
the
no.
scenes.
Well, yes, the two people behind the scenes. Yes, they don't know anything.
Time machine. Let's get out of here. I mean, one of us wants to do Mouse Hunt.